Medical Intuitive Insights with your host, Dr. Gloria Warren, is a program that presents topics on medical intuition, holistic opportunities outside of mainstream society, and scientific research as applied today. Topics range from online intuitive readings to interviews unveiling alternative healing modalities and discussing them with inspirational leaders. Dr. Warren is the bridge within holistic arts while stressing the balance between the spiritual and physical self. So now, please welcome the host of Medical Intuitive Insights, Dr. Gloria Warren.
Are you living your life, or is someone else running it for you? Which parts of your life are draining you? How can you reclaim them? What would happen if your mind, body, home, and energy finally became aligned? Hello, and welcome to Medical Intuitive Insights. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. I'm here to talk to you about one of the most transformative programs I've ever created, a 10-part mini series called Self-Sustainability. Return to your highest, healthiest, most aligned self. Remember what that felt like. For the next 55 minutes, we will explore each part of this journey: mind, body, spirit, home, relationships, finances, and your inner landscape of your life. I'll be asking questions, self-diagnostic questions, and a few powerful, insightful things that will help you see, feel, and sense where your next level alignment truly lives. Let's begin. So what is self-sustainability? Self-sustainability is the art of maintaining your own energy, clarity, peace, and vitality without depending on external chaos, people, circumstances to regulate you. It is the practice of saying, I can sustain my own well-being. I am the source. I am the foundation. And with the source, we will be one. But first, you need to ask yourself a few questions. What drains me the most? What is it? Do you even know? Where in my life am I outsourcing my power? Where is it coming from? And what would my life feel like if I were fully self-sustaining? In this mini course, which you're going to receive right now, I'll walk you through the 10 pillars that support deeply sustainable life. Let's explore them. Pillar 1, clean, conscious nutrition. Did you ever look in your cabinets, in your kitchen cabinets? Food affects your frequency. A lot of things on the internet today about what frequency you're running at, what frequencies you need to heal. But do they ever talk to you about your frequency of your food, your clarity, your immunity, your emotional stability? Most people think they have food issues, but what they really have is an energy issue caused by foods that work against them. Perhaps there are things within the foods that are the real culprits. So ask your questions. Answer these. Does my food give me energy or take away energy? Do I eat with intention or reaction? And what would happen if I ate for clarity instead of comfort? So this pillar 1 in chapter 1, clean conscious nutrition, discusses the difference between nourishment and stimulation, how the gut-brain axis affects mood, anxiety, and focus, why the body craves foods that harm it. Well, this is actually the dopamine loops. Could crave sugar, caffeine, something with a chemical in it that your body just makes you feel good, and yet perhaps it's not good for you. The connection between inflammation and emotional imbalance is very important. How digestion changes under stress or fatigue. The spiritual aspects of conscious eating, eating with gratitude, why hydration is a nutrient most people overlook. The role of mindful eating in trauma recovery, extremely super important. So if you have an issue, if you've been in an accident or you've had emotional trauma, the role of mindful eating can help you get through your recovery. Please, remember that. Pillar 2 discusses chemicals in your environment. So this is one overlooked huge section when I go into somebody's home and I start noting things. And I've had patients and clients all tell me, how did you know all this? Well, it's my whole life has been doing this and examining and analyzing things like this. So your home actually should heal you, not harm you. Hidden toxins are everywhere. They're in the air, the water, the surfaces, the fabrics that you wear, silently influencing hormones, mood, sleep, inflammation, and stress. I remember back in the 1960s, they came out with polyester. That was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And it was great. Late 60s, early 70s, people wearing polyester suits, men, women alike. They don't wrinkle though, and they're great in the dryer and they come out. But everyone was talking about it. They actually knew, but this year they found that it's absorbed through the skin and puts toxins in your body, changes your hormones. And there was a huge discussions about this type of situation. And today we've become desensitized to toxins around us and toxins we put against our body. So many. What natural fibers are you actually wearing right now? Think about it. What are they? Chances are you're not wearing any natural fibers right now. So ask yourself these questions. Does my home feel heavy or healing? What toxins am I unknowingly breathing in that are released into the air in your own home? What would one tiny detox step change for me? And yes, there are some. From taking charcoal to detox your body or removing some of these toxins from your environment. I actually sold an Asian rug I had. It was like from the late 1800s and it was large. It was a 9x12. It's beautiful. And I sold it to a gentleman who so appreciated it. It's because he was going to have a baby and he wanted only natural fibers and dyes around his child. So he wanted to put it in his living room. It needed a few little repairs, but he had the expertise to do that. Thank goodness. We saved it. And after we got rid of it, I'm thinking, oh gosh, I could never have fixed it though like this man could. So I knew it had to move on to the next family. But I just keep thinking, I wish I would have kept it in a way because it was all natural. It was wool. And wool doesn't hold on to stains and it's non-toxic and the dyes were all vegetable born. It was great. But either way, think about it. A lot of things to think about with that. Like house-scented candles and detergents and cleaners. They all affect your central nervous system. So, you need to do things in balance. If you want a scent for the holidays, great. I love scents for the holidays. I try to do things naturally, but can't always do that. And if I do something else, I just do it a little here and there. I don't sit and spray the rooms and fill them constantly with a scent or whatever. But just do things in a balance. Okay, pillar 2, which is chapter 2, stress resilience. Your nervous system is the engine of your life. If it's dysregulated, everything else becomes harder. Relationships, decisions, eating, sleeping, thinking, everything weighs heavy on your mind. So ask yourself these questions. Do I live in survival mode more than I realize? What does my body do when it's stressed? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn? I know I go, when my body's really stressed, I have to take a mental time out to relax my mind because my thinking is back and forth and back and forth. And my mother always says, oh, that's the Libra in you, but is it really? Or is it just that I was trained that way because I learned from her? Just a thought. What if calm was a skill, not a coincidence? And I know I've had to develop a skill, that's for sure. The biology of stress, relates to your cortisol levels, your adrenaline, the vagus nervous system, and why stress makes it harder to think clearly. It's like you got a little hamster wheel in your brain, and it keeps running around and around and around when you're under stress. And you're just so afraid you're going to miss doing something or getting something done. So why does this happen? These are things that you learn in that program that I'm providing. How unresolved emotions show up in your physical stress systems, understanding burnout, exhaustion, emotional depletion, how breath work changes your heart rate variability, and how trauma patterns influence stress response. I know my past trauma patterns influence my stress responses, and I can actually pinpoint back where it came from in my life, and then why this pattern kept repeating, and then having to stop it. The role of sleep cycles in the central nervous system repair. It miss sleep cycles, and you're going to have a lot of emotional and immunity problems. But a lot of people do what they call stress backpacking. You carry a lot of stress without even realizing it. And some of it can be conditioned. I mean, especially if you're raising a family or have responsibilities at work. You could be carrying some things unknowingly, taking care of more of the bigger things, but then you've got all these little things that are just built up, and you need to learn on how to get rid of them. This is all part of that self-sustainability 10-part course. I also, though, am doing the sustainability coaching certification. So these are things that you really need to consider. How a breath work changes your heart variability. They have had extensive research studies on this. The deep breathing exercises that I tell people how to do. You push all that air out, and then you inhale. Put your arms up in the air, lean your head back, expand that rib cage, and then slowly count. Changes your heart rate, can lower your blood pressure. There's so many things that we can do for our own physical self. I know this is a lot of questioning, a lot of answers. This is what this episode's about, though. You need to question. You need to actually think about everything around you. We are going to delve into several other categories this next portion of our show. This show has more information in it and more ideas in it on things that you can be inspired to change for your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual well-being. And no, I don't mean religion. I mean spiritual well-being, which is part of different religions, but it can be a part of itself as well, just your connection with the universe. This is something everybody should take. Everybody should learn. It is an amazing course. I have textbook, workbook, I have everything that goes with it, and it's all part of it. I can't imagine having dysregulated sleep and over religion and relationships and the emotional weight of different things in your life, and yet you don't want to change it. One person in your family, take the course, tell everybody else. You really need to hear these things, okay? So be ready for a lot of information. Be ready for, write things down if you want. You can visit the video again through YouTube and many other places. You can listen to it again. You can play it for other people. So, get ready here and pass this on, pass out the link, get people to watch. It's going to be a heck of a show here. Stay with me. We're going to take a brief moment for a message from our sponsors. As you breathe, check in. How's your body feeling right now? Take a few breaths, deep breaths, count to 5, count to 10, releasing. Get these breaths in. Where does your energy want to flow next? That's the real question. We'll be right back with more insight on your self-sustainability journey.
Mike Zorich, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, luminous friends. Thank you for taking this moment with us. Let's continue exploring how you can nourish your life from the inside out, starting with the ways your environment shapes your energy, mood, and your healing capabilities. So in this pillar, chapter 4, I will discuss emotional sustainability. Remember, your emotions are not your enemies. They're your messages, your maps, your mirrors. Emotional sustainability helps you protect your peace and create clarity. So we have some more questions to ask you, and I want you to think about this. Which emotions do I repeat because I never resolve the root? That's an interesting question there. But where do my boundaries need to be strengthened? That's something too. Many of us need to consider. And what thoughts can I release today? What can I say? Done. Not going to do that anymore. Well, things that are actually influences our childhood wiring, current emotional habits, the difference between reactive and emotion versus responsive emotion is something that you can learn in this course. Why numbing becomes a habit, scrolling. I mean, how many times do you see people like this? Yeah, 1 minute. Wait a minute. Okay. It's a habit. It's not just technology. Eating, bad habits with eating, that is, and checking out, just staring off in the sunset. Now, some people can consider it. I always tell people, oh, I'm project planning. But am I always doing that, project planning, when I stare off? Or am I maybe emotionally checking out? I think it's a little of both, depending on who's around me at the time. How boundaries are a form of self-respect, not rejection. That's something that I teach too, because you have to build your self-respect in a very responsible way, of course. But, setting boundaries can make you feel like it's a rejection, or maybe others will reject you when you're doing that. So other things are emotional detox, releasing stored emotional residual. That's a long-term life situation, of course, but you need to release some emotional residue. I start with network mapping. I know that's like weird, but this is the project manager in me. I sit and I do pictures and network mapping. Where does this come from? Who was like that? Where did I learn this? Where was I conditioned to feel this way when this happened? Interesting, because then I understood why, and I can see it from a third person point of view, like from a distance, and think about those other people and is that the way she should have reacted to him? No. Well, why am I acting that way? So learning the language of the body's emotional cues and how they're stored and the residual is very important. Body language, emotional cues. Most people experience emotions first in the body, not in the mind. But the body speaks through subtle signals long before we think about those emotions. I'm sure you've experienced the tightness of chest before you may have to say yes. Imagine you receive a text asking you to take another responsibility on. Maybe helping someone, staying late, or doing a favor. Before you even respond, your mind says, I should do it. They'll be disappointed if I say no. It won't take long. I don't want to look selfish. But your body says something very different. Your chest tightens, your shoulders lift, your breath becomes shallow, your stomach drops slightly. Emotionally, your body's saying, no, this drains me, this is too much. Your nervous system is signaling overwhelming a boundary violation. But because many people haven't learned the body's language, they override the signal and say, yes, anyways. I've done that quite a bit. I'm sure everybody has that's listening. But later, you'll feel resentment, extreme fatigue, irritability, and burnout. Not because of the task, but because they betrayed their body's cues. You betrayed it. So you know what you're going to feel, but yet you still say yes. I know I have always been a yes person. And I realized that I cannot help anybody if I'm not getting enough sleep. Now, I still have to get up through the night because I have a disabled parent, yes. But, and that trumps everything for me. But I will have to find different ways to get a little extra rest or do something peaceful for me, whether it's a hot bath or something to relax more, because after all, my feet need to be up so I have a healthy body and circulation. And it's just a lot to deal with. So how guilt shows up when you first set boundaries in something that we would learn, how emotional sustainability reduces anxiety, procrastination, and burnout. So becoming emotionally sustainable is very important. The next pillar is Chapter 5, Feng Shui and Home Alignment. Your home is a living conversation with your energy. It's constantly conversing with you. I love Feng Shui. Clutter holds memory. So memory could be good or bad. Everything in your home should be evolved from good memories. Rooms hold stories, and you want to reflect those joyous, non-stressful stories. And energy flow determines your internal flow. So what room in your home feels stuck right now? What room do you feel sad in, or you just don't feel that good energy or a positive thing in your body? Think about that. What is the energy in your bedroom, your kitchen, your entrance? And if your home mirrored your inner world, what is it telling you? Go through your home. This is something we do. I talk about everything from colors and energy flow and things laying around like a bracelet that maybe I don't care for the person who gave it to me, or maybe I love the person who gave it to me. So fill yourself with surrounding items and lack of clutter, and think of the colors. And so the memories are really important for your emotional imprinting. Clutter creates a mental static. So the psychology of a messy bedroom versus a clear bedroom is very strong, powerful, and the colors affect energy, mood, sleep, and why the home is your external nervous system. It's also felt internally, though. Using scent, sound, lighting to shift that vibration and that frequency can be very beneficial Understanding doorway energy, how you enter a space, really matters. The emotional weight of neglected spaces is quite a bit. So now we go to pillar 6, is the physical vitality. Movement is medicine, not punishment. Physical vitality means movement of some sort. Your lymphatic system depends on movement. Your mood depends on movement, and the longevity depends on movement. You can't live long. You don't use it, you'll lose it. So you need to keep moving and doing things and create, do something new. Don't always have to do something that's maybe boring to you. Questions you may ask yourself: does my body feel alive or stagnant? Am I moving to thrive or moving to survive? What does my body actually need right now? You need to get up, do like Tony Robbins does with move around. Hey, it works. It works. Very effective technique, by the way. You may want to try that, even if it's just like every 20 minutes, getting up and shaking yourself, moving around and jumping for joy, and smile and be in joy. So you'll also learn, though, why movement improves lymphatic drainage and detox, the connection between movement and emotional release, somatic exercises, how trauma is stored in the hips, jaw, chest, many parts of your body. You get trauma that's stored, and it also can indicate other more deeper physical problems. And mobility versus flexibility versus strength, what they really mean. They are 3 separate things. They do work together in synergy, but also why fatigue is not always a sign of low fitness. How breath and posture influence confidence and mood. I just put a pillow behind my back before I started to talk because it increases my confidence, helps me be more positive, and puts me in a good mood because my body's energy is flowing better. Movement as medicine for aging and hormone balance. It works. And what 5 minutes of movement can transform in your body, mind, spirit. It's just amazing. Some of the things that we can talk about regarding the 6 pillars we've already gone through. And I ask all these questions because there's so much, each of us human beings, we don't know. And there's so much that we can learn. And it amazes me on how much we don't know. So I'm actually getting a question from somebody. Sorry. Okay. Let me go back to that portion there. They wanted to know how color impacts energy, mood, and sleep. And yes, we did mention that. Color in general, just letting you know, this is the feng shui of things. Blue, subdued, soft blues, and soft, dark, deeper colors, but the soft, deeper colors have more of a relaxing, subdued type energy on the human body. Whereas like if you look at orange and yellow, that's great for like a kitchen or bright mornings, and white with some pops of bright colors and things that actually make more energy in the human body. Whereas if I go into the bedroom, I want to sleep, so I want to relax. So subdued colors, it just makes it like a real nesty, soft, comfy, cozy place and more zen, Unfortunately, my living room is much like that. So like my daughter walks in, she goes, oh, I don't know what it is. Everything, the way you have it all placed, it's so relaxing in here. Yes, it's nice, but I need to work. I need to have energy. So I'll be changing the color in my living room, though. I'll leave my shrine area and my bedroom and all that. It'll be more calming and soothing. So it just affects your mental energy and your mind, and it does work. And it deals with feng shui. And through the course, we go through all the different colors and what it does and how it impacts your emotional self and your physical being. It's amazing. Then that's just one of those things in that feng shui that I mentioned. I think I mentioned like 8 or 10. So, there's a lot of things that we go over, and we need to do that so we understand how we're affected by all these things in our lives. So we're going to take a short pause here, a break. But before we do, notice your breath once again. Notice the wisdom in your body. And remember, transformation doesn't begin with doing. It begins with awareness. This is what the course is about. It's awareness. Stay tuned. More powerful insights are coming. I'll be right back.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
I hope that little pause gave you space to reconnect with yourself. Just when you think you've heard of all of it. Now we're going to shift into heart of our relationships and how boundaries, clarity, and emotional safety create sustainable connections. Relationships are energy exchanges. Some nourish you, some drain you, some teach you, some break you open to grow. So my questions to you is, who feels safe and who feels heavy? Where do I need a boundary? Gosh, I have asked that question a million times in my life. I can't even count. So who am I becoming? And who can I come? Who can't come with me? These are boundaries you really need to question. Energetic leakage, how relationships drain or nourish you. Trauma, bonding versus healthy bonding. That seems to be a lot of things that can be from past life or early life and inflicting our current situation. Healthy bonding is very important. Love versus obligation and learning the difference. You may feel you're in an obligatory situation, but is there love there? And maybe there was love and maybe you can rekindle it. Maybe you can't. You need to learn the difference. I'll actually show different ways that you can figure it out during the session. So why people resist the new you? It's a huge question. So the new you is new to them too. And that we need to remember. They miss the old you. They like it better. Maybe perhaps more controlling. Maybe you were doing more. Either way, it could have been good or bad for you. Emotional availability, how to assess it with yourself, and why boundaries trigger guilt at first. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have said yes. I could have done one more thing. How to identify relationship patterns like that repeat over and over again. The difference between a safe person and a familiar person. There is a huge difference, and a lot of past life or earlier life situations may make you be with a familiar person when they may not be all that safe or even good for you. The next pillar deals with financial sustainability, and this everyone's going to love. Money is energy. And this is something that I had a discussion with last week. Somebody's like, oh, I never thought of that. No, money is energy. If I give my energy and I get money for it, that's a symbol of my energy. I get paid according to the energy that I expressed and got some money in return. So money is energy. Financial sustainability is less about income, though. It's more about alignment. When your money reflects your values and peace emerges. So the questions I have for you regarding financial sustainability. Here's one for you to ask yourself. Do I spend from emotion or intention? Do I choose from fear or clarity? And what would a peace budget look like for my life? This here brings in the topics like emotional psychology of money, childhood scarcity influencing adult decisions, why people sabotage financial progress, usually past life or early life situations, what money shame looks like. This was a problem I had because I was told from some Tibetan monks one time, you should never touch money. That's for somebody else to touch for you. And so I felt very shameful taking money in my hand from people when that was my energy coming back to me. Not good, not good. So how abundance is more internal than external. And what I teach too is manifestation of things like money and goodwill and joy. So how clutter and disorganization spill into financial habits. Feng Shui does play a part in money. There's things, it's scripted throughout your home, placement of things and whatnot that actually affect your financial status and your financial ability to making money. Like right now, my office is not in the place it should be in the house. So I'm in the process of redoing different areas of the house so that I can put it in the correct place so that money can come in. So emotional spending versus aligned spending. Sometimes you get a little depressed and you go out and you spend some money and it's like, why did I do that? Well, I felt like I had to, but did you really have to? Well, you're gonna learn the differences and other things you can tell yourself that will work to stop that from happening. Financial wellness is a form of respect in our society, but the wellness of finances are more personal. So you respect yourself when you can bring about the wellness within your financial situation. So the next pillar is spiritual sustainability. This comes in chapter 9. Spiritual sustainability means living from your inner source, not the world's noise. It may include rituals, sacred rhythms, music, intuition, boundaries, connections. The questions you should ask yourself on this topic are, where in my life am I spiritually undernourished? What is my daily ritual of reconnection to my spiritual self? And how often do I ignore my intuition and why? Why do I keep doing that? I have a friend of mine. She keeps doing things. And I know when she sees this, she's going to laugh. She goes, yeah, you were talking about me. She keeps doing this. She's like, I really need to do this, but I shouldn't. I'm like, maybe you should wait till the beginning of the year because you're working on this other project that is very important for everybody and it needs to get done. Yeah, but I really need to do this too. And she schedules something in. And then she ends up having to break off that situation because she realized she didn't have the time. And she goes, why do I keep doing this? I know not to do this. Whenever I ask you, you give me the right answer, but then I don't do what you tell me and I know I should do. And I'm like, I don't know what to say about this. She ignores her intuition and why. So that's something that we're exploring in her situation. And that's something we can explore in anyone's. And I'm here for that. So what is spiritual burnout? What does it look like? What are the differences between intuition and fear? How to tell the difference? And intuition, though, is very calm. Fear is very loud. Intuition speaks in a quiet, steady knowing. Fear is urgent, noisy, and overwhelming. But it doesn't always have to be the only thing that's urgent, noisy, and overwhelming. You can have other things that are not involving fear. It's just we're conditioned to do some of that. So knowing the difference is very important. Intuition lives in the present, fear lives in the past or the future. Intuition responds to what's happening now. Fear projects old wounds or imagined scenarios. I'm a survivalist, so I think I do have a lot of fear in my past life or this life earlier in life. So I say to people, I'm not a oh, what's the word for it? A prepper. I am a survivalist. So it is just the way I am. And I had somebody in my life taught me how to be that way too. And I need to be that way to a certain extent, but I need to also let go and know that God will guide me if I so need it. So intuition, though, brings clarity. Fear brings confusion. That's something that is stated by many psychologists and spiritual leaders and things. I don't think fear always brings confusion. I think it just brings like a Boy Scout way of thinking. Always be prepared. So it doesn't have to bring confusion, but at the same time, is it always fear that does that with me and the way I am? No, it isn't. It can be just being prepared. Intuition does simplify decisions. Oh, okay. They tell me so. Okay, that's what I'll do. Fear creates a spiraling thoughts of uncertainty, and that it does sometimes. And it gets that hamster wheel going in your head that keeps going around and around. Just remember, you can always stop yourself and just change your mind. You don't have to stay on that hamster wheel. So intuition feels neutral in the body. Fear feels reactive. Intuition carries no judgment. Fear is critical. Intuition is also consistent. Fear shifts constantly. Intuition expands you, fear contracts you. So how spiritual boundaries protect your energy, why slowing down increases clarity, how nature reconnects you to your inner source, and then you get a spiritual thirst. The feeling of the spiritual thirst is from the feeling of disconnection with your soul and your spirit. So you need to know how to deal with that and get yourself back on the right track. How rituals actually create energetic stability. And that's true. And a lot of things about religion, people can say, oh, religion's bad and it's all made up and pretend. Well, that's what they think. I know different for a fact. I've had connections and I know and I've seen miracles, and all I can do is pray that someday they see a miracle. So rituals are not necessarily bad. You may do them or not, but what also you need to know is what happens when you ignore intuition repeatedly, it may not be good. So life design mastery is the 10th pillar. So this is where everything comes together: your vision, your habits, your identity, your values, your environment, your long-term blueprint of your life. Questions you should ask yourself: what is my 1 year, my 3 year, my 5 year vision of where I'll be and what I'm doing? Who am I becoming? What does a sustainable future look and feel like for me? Additional points: how identity shapes destiny, clarity, motivation, micro habits versus massive goals. Why the future self must become the decision maker. How small systems prevent burnout. One example of this, I use a network map. I was a project manager. So I use little network maps and put them all together. It's amazing because then you see it and you're like, oh, now my brain isn't going around and around trying to think of it. It's right there in front of me, and I know what steps I need to take to finish that and get it off my desk. Busy project managers are always the best, like they say. The alignment, though, check. Does my life match my values? Releasing old identities that no longer fit. 90-day window, why it creates a real change in your biology, behavior, psychology of identity, neurology of habit formation. So there's so many other things: neuroactivation, automation, 90 days. I do a 90 days. The brain recognizes the habit, normal behavior. So there's different things we can do to get you on the right path, and we can have fun with it, basically. So we are coming up to a commercial break. As we step away for a moment, consider this. What is one area of your life that's calling for deeper alignment? Hold that question and gently in your heart. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life.
Welcome back. We're coming to the final section of today's journey, life's design and personal mastery. This is where everything comes together, your habits, your environment, your energy, and your future. So let's begin with an audience self-diagnostic. So let me ask you more questions. Powerful questions. Are you living by design or are you living by default? Does your home regulate you or dysregulate you? Does your nutrition support healing or just merely survival? You know, on a survival diet, you can have a healing diet as well. Very low cost. Are your boundaries protecting your peace? That was always the hardest one for me. I know that. Do you feel spiritually aligned, though, or spiritually thirsty? Are your habits aligned with your future self? Are your relationships reciprocal, or are they draining? Do you feel like your life is running you, or are you leading your life? If these questions stirred something inside you, you're ready. So it's an invitation to the course, the 10-part self-sustainability training course. Or if you want to do a self-sustainability coaching certification course, they both have a full student guide, workbook, facilitator-led curriculum, live or self-paced teaching structure, worksheets, trackers, templates, certification exam, credentials, certificate of completion, and tools for lifelong sustainability. If you answered yes to any of these, then you can contact me, 715-892-7500. Do you feel disconnected from your vitality? Is your home chaotic where emotions feel heavy or boundaries feel weak? Is your nervous system tired or your spirit yearning for more? Then your life is calling for realignment. At this moment, additionally, the self-sustainability coaching course is also being offered so that you can take what you learned and help others within your family and community. I do want to leave you. I am going to backtrack a bit on the 90-day habit changing scenario. 90-day 90 days is long enough to see results, not just for effort, but you'll notice real physical changes, feel emotional stability, see financial shifts. I mean, goodness, it's amazing what it can do to help your family too. They can see the difference, detox cluttered spaces at the same time, strengthen your relationships, repair your sleep, develop spiritual habits that can fulfill you spiritually too, and redesign your life trajectory. It becomes visible, tangible, especially when the energy comes back to you financially. It's undeniable. Remember, motivation grows because results reinforce new behaviors. You have to have 90 days though. 90 days is what it takes to change actual habits. It's enough time for the old identity to dissolve and the new one to stabilize. The nervous system calibrates slowly, so stress patterns, trauma responses, and emotional loops don't shift instantly, but with gentle daily practice for 8 to 12 weeks, cortisol levels stabilize, the vagus nervous system tone increases, emotional triggers quiet down, baseline calm increases. Emotional resilience improves. The nervous system finally says, this is the new normal. Like I said, 90 days. And that's something in this course we discuss, we set up, and I give you all the tools you need to do the 90 days. We identify what you need to change as well. You'll have all the tools to do this. It's something that I offer people because I think it's something that I'm called to do for people. So it's not like just, I want to do this. I want to do this for other people. This whole program is for other people. So we do have Life Connect Retreat. It was switched to the second week in December. We only have a couple more seats left. If you're interested, please contact me, 715-892-7500. You can see my website, Medical Intuitive Gloria.org, or the best is look up lifeconnectinstitute.org. That's where you can find the things that what I'm up to today. So I hope that something in this episode opened a door, a new awareness, a spark of possibility for your sustainable life, and which isn't just somewhere out there. It's waiting for you inside you. Remember, you are capable, you are worthy, you are powerful, and you are designed to sustain yourself. I'm Dr. Warren. This is Medical Intuitive Insights. I can't wait to walk the new journey with you, transform with me. God bless you, and there for the grace of God go I. Have a wonderful day.
This has been Medical Intuitive Insights with host Dr. Gloria Warren. Tune in each week as Gloria shares over 40 years of experience and yearns to provide knowledge derived from intuition and research. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern.